Sounds like a good plan.
All right. So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for plotting your 2026 genealogical journey. For those that don't know, I'm Kate Kisselstein, one of the librarians in the local history and genealogy department at Onondaga County Public Library's Central Library in snowy, rainy downtown Syracuse, New York. For now, I'll ask you to keep yourselves muted until we get to the open forum discussion towards the end of the session. Please note that the session is being recorded, and in order to make it available as soon as possible, I'll be uploading it to our YouTube channel, which is Genealogy with Kate CNY, and making the unedited recording available by 5 p.m. Eastern today. So charting the course. Today we'll be taking a brief look at some of what we've learned from our 2025 sessions, followed by an overview of the first four sessions of 2026. Then we'll then take a look at some tips for setting realistic research goals before we get to our favorite section, the open discussion, where you'll be able to share any plans you have or topics you'd like to see for 2026. So, as with any journey, sometimes it's good to take a moment to reflect on what we've accomplished already, which is why it's always a good idea to keep research notes. This is just an overview of the dates of all the genealogy sessions that we had in 2025. And I've made the guest speakers, I put an asterisk by the guest speaker sessions, of which we had four this year. And three of the programs were not recorded. Three of the guest speaker programs were not recorded. These will be any of the recordings will be up by New Year's. And again, they'll be on that channel. And I should let you know, one thing I didn't let you know in the beginning, I will be sending out a PDF copy of the full-size slides, so you'll have all this information to access. So topics that we learned, sessions that we had in 2025. First up, we had 21 strategies for deciphering old handwriting with guest speaker Carla Sigelski. She provided us with practical tips and strategies for deciphering the challenging handwriting family historians often encounter in old census records, letters, and journals. Then in February, we had another guest speaker, Michael Casara, and he provided us with an overview of Italian genealogical research, covering essential starting points and introducing lesser known online resources for deeper exploration. Next up was in March was Roots Tech Rewind Discoveries from 2025's conference, where I shared highlights from Roots Tech 2025, exploring how emerging tools like artificial intelligence are shaping genealogical research and showcasing resources from my trip to the Family Research Library in Salt Lake City. In April, we had one of my favorites was sharing family recipes, preserving heirloom memories, and more. And this was a special kickoff to 2025's Preservation Week. And we explored ways to preserve handwritten family recipes and other fragile documents, treating them as both historical records and family heirlooms. Then in May, we actually had kind of a hybrid local history genealogy program. This was a special anniversary program as we marked the 200th anniversary of the village of Syracuse and the Erie Canal, while exploring Syracuse's early development along with practical genealogy tips for researching Central New York ancestors in the pre-1850s era, particularly those connected to the Erie Canal. And then in June, we had a bit of a roundtable meeting. That was Genealogy on the Porch, your summer roundup of stories, strategies, and what's ahead. And this informal roundtable gave us time to share recent discoveries, discuss research challenges, and there was a preview of the upcoming programs for the genealogy group in the fall, which included a returning guest speaker and fall topics connecting genealogy and history. Then next up, we had a special date in July. That was Wednesday, July 23rd, where our guest speaker was Adrienne Jones Roderick, and she spoke on my maternal lineage to Aunt Harriet. Adrienne is Harriet Tubman's great-great-great-grandniece, and she shared how oral history and genealogical research have helped her family preserve and pass down the legacy of her Aunt Harriet across the generations, lighting a path to the future. August 22nd, we had we saw the return of Carla Sigelski. This time it was mining for genealogical treasures in the Internet Archive. And this was an exploration of the many research riches of the Internet Archive, where she shared practical search strategies for uncovering genealogical treasures far beyond the Wayback Machine, which is the site where you can look up old archived websites. Next up in September, we had Denied, Then Defended, Birthright Citizenship and the Legacy of Wong Kim Ark. And this presentation explored the landmark 1898 U.S. Supreme Court case of Wong Kim Ark, examining how restrictive immigration and citizenship laws shaped family histories and how understanding these legal contexts can strengthen genealogical research. Next up, in October, we had Mapping Roots, Using Land Records to Ground Your Family History. And this session demonstrated how land deeds, property surveys, and historic maps, including Sanborn fire insurance maps, can reveal ancestors' lives, movements, and connections to place. And then last month, we had Roots and Branches 2.0, Family Trees, Traditions, and Tastes. And in this program, we explored creative ways to share family trees, from handwritten charts to digital displays, while offering practical ideas for engaging relatives of all ages through visual storytelling and shared culinary traditions. So let's take a look ahead.
Kate,
Oh, yes.
before you move on, I just want to say that seeing that list of the last year, it's so impressive. And
Oh,
I do love the way you put things together, and oh, how you think about grouping things, how your mind works on doing these things creatively and graphically. I wanted to tell you I really appreciate that.
oh, thank you, Corey. That's very nice. Thank you. Yes. Oh, good. And so now we're going to take a look ahead at what's to come for our genealogy group in 2026. And as I stated before, you'll be getting the full size, a PDF of the full size slides. So don't feel like you have to frantically write down all these dates. But these are the dates we're looking at in 2026. And note that for July, November, and December, we will be meeting on the third Friday of the month due to vacation and holiday dates. But all the rest of them are going to be on the fourth Friday of the month. And it will be at our usual time of 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern on Zoom. And with that, we'll go ahead and take a look at an overview of the first four sessions for 2026. So I'm happy to let you know that our first four topics are scheduled, and registration for the January program will be open after we wrap up here today, with registration for the following ones becoming available roughly 1 month in advance. And note, while I also have tentative topics through June of 2026, I'm holding space open for any topics that might prove of strong interest to the group that come up during today's discussion. So these are the topics. January is City Directories and Local Clues, a Genealogist's Hidden Treasure. February will be Following the Fleur-de-Lis, Exploring French and Acadian Family History. March is going to be Roots Tech Recap 2026, Conference Highlights and Inspirations. And then April is Federal Census Deep Dive Beyond the Basics. And we'll take a deeper look into these, starting with January. So first up is City Directories and Local Clues, a Genealogist's Hidden Treasure. We'll learn how city directories can bridge gaps between census years and reveal details about ancestors' occupations, residences, and community ties. This session will highlight Syracuse and Central New York directories in print, microfilm, and online, with practical tips for using them to trace families year by year. It will take place via our regular Zoom link on Friday, January 23rd, 2026, from 10 to 11 Eastern. Next up in February is Following the Fleur-de-Lis, Exploring French and Acadian Family History. We'll discover approachable ways to begin researching French and Acadian roots, from early migration to the New World to key records and traditions that shaped these communities. This session will offer a gentle introduction to sources, strategies, and historical context, perfect for those curious about French-speaking ancestors or looking to expand your research horizons. And this will take place on Friday, February 27th from 10 to 11 a.m. And of course, it would not be March if I didn't take you through Roots Tech Recap, Conference Highlights and Inspiration. So each year, Roots Tech brings together new ideas, tools, and conversations shaping the future of family history. In this recap session, I'll share highlights and takeaways from Roots Tech 2026, along with practical insights genealogists can apply to their own research. Whether experienced in person or online, the conference offers inspiration across skill levels, exploring emerging trends, creative approaches, and fresh ways to stay connected to the global genealogy community. It will take place on Friday, March 27th. And then last of the four that I'll give you a preview of, in April 2026, we'll be doing Federal Census Deep Dive Beyond the Basics. The federal census is often the backbone of genealogical research, but there's far more to it than names and dates. In this session, we'll take a closer look at how to analyze census records more deeply, uncovering overlooked clues about households, relationships, occupations, and community context. We'll explore strategies for tracking families across decades, recognizing common pitfalls, and using census data alongside other records to strengthen your research and resolve lingering questions. And that will take place on Friday, April 24th. So before we get into our open discussion portion of today's session, I did want to take you through something that you may find useful to keep in mind as we make research plans for 2026 and beyond. So one simple framework that can really help turn good intentions into doable research genealogy plans is the S.M.A.R.T method. And many of us start the year with big hopeful goals like I want to break through a brick wall, which is one of the things I had told myself about my great grandfather Thomas Patterson. I wanted to break through the brick walls with him, but there are so many brick walls with him. So and there are wonderful wanting to break through a brick wall is a wonderful motivation, but it can feel overwhelming without a bit of structure. And that's where S.M.A.R.T genealogy goals come in. This framework comes from genealogist Amy Johnson Crow, and it gives us a way to turn a vague goal into something we can actually act on. S stands for specific. Instead of research my Irish ancestors, we narrow it down to one person, one place, or one record type. M is measurable. We want to know when we've completed the goal, whether that's locating a record, analyzing it, or documenting what we found. A is actionable or attainable, meaning this is something we can realistically take steps on given our time, access, and experience. R is realistic. It fits into our real lives. It doesn't assume unlimited time, energy, or travel, and it allows for everything else we juggle. So rather than saying I'm going to, for example, I'm going to redo all my citations in evidence explained, which is the standard citation format for genealogical research, you say I'm going to redo the citations for the records I have for my maternal line in evidence explained, and I'm going to work on it in 15-minute increments every day. That's a realistic goal. And T is for time bound or timely. And that's giving ourselves a gentle time frame, which helps prevent a goal from getting endlessly postponed. The point isn't to make genealogy feel like homework. It's to make our research more focused, manageable, and most importantly, rewarding. To show how this works in real life, I want to share an example from my own research, one that's still very much in progress. It's a small, focused question that I've carried forward over time, and it illustrates how a SMART goal doesn't have to solve everything at once. For this example, I'm using my great-great-grandfather, Thomas Patterson. I believe I may have located him in the 1900 U.S. Census in Sanilac County, Michigan, but I want to be clear that this identification is not yet proven. The record is a strong possibility. The age aligns as the person was born in 1868. The birthplace matches because he's listed. The Thomas Patterson I found is listed as being born in Ireland. And the location is in the same county where his wife and children were living at the time. And we had found his wife listed on the 1900 census as head of household with two children, with two of their children. And that was the thing. We had no clue where he was found. However, because he appears in a different household as a married servant, I'm treating this as a working hypothesis rather than a confirmed match. This is a good example of how uncertainty can shape a research goal. Instead of assuming the record is correct and marking it as a source and using all the information, I turn it into a focused research question. Is this census record truly my ancestor? And if so, why was he living separately from his family in 1900? That question then becomes the basis for a SMART research plan. And I don't have the census image on this slide, and that's intentional, because this example is about forming the question, not proving the answer just yet.
Right.
And I'll stop sharing my screen in a moment so we can see each other for our favorite part of today's session, the open forum. If you need a discussion point, you could offer one or two genealogy goals you have for 2026 and/or any potential topics you'd like to see covered here in the near future. I'll be sending the PDF copy of the full-size slides, and if there's anything in the chat log, I'll also be sending that out by the end of the day today. As a reminder, the unedited video will be available on our YouTube channel, which is Genealogy with Kate CNY, by the end of the day today. And let me stop sharing. And we'll see everybody. Okay. So who wants to go first?
I'll give this a stab.
I'll go
Okay.
too.
Okay, Scott?
In the last couple of years, I've been working with learning more and applying artificial intelligence to my genealogy research. And I'm interested in continuing working on that to use it to transcribe and or translate birth, marriage, death records, Quebec notarial records, and newspaper research.
Oh,
So that's one of my goals for 2026.
oh, very good.
That sounds very ambitious.
Yeah,
I've been working on it a couple of years, so I don't know.
that's great. All right. And Molly, you,
Hold on. My phone is ringing. I have to turn it on. All right. There we go. So mine, I think I'm going to have an overarching theme of unanswered questions because I have various research paths I've gone down and I've gotten to a certain point, and then there's an unanswered question that's like I can't deal with, and so I put it aside. And one of my big ones is that do I or don't I have a Revolutionary War ancestor? I have a gravestone with a marker that was added way after he died by a descendant who had an oral history that said he fought under George Washington.
oh,
So he's listed he's buried in Binghamton, and he's listed as a Revolutionary War veteran. However, when you go to look at the records, he has no pension, there's no record of him. And then there's 2 letters to the editor written by another descendant that said he was a civilian at the time in New Jersey when they came through and fought the battles there. And a lot of civilians were pulled into the action. So he probably like lit a cannon when he was 16 years old, and that got him the plaque saying that he was a cannoneer under George Washington. So so it's big questions, right? I've got all this, circumstantial evidence, but nothing concrete to hang my hat on. And I've heard that there were some like pay slips for civilians that assisted the military in New Jersey. So it's been sitting on the shelf. I'm thinking this year, because of the anniversary, I should really go look at that. So that's one unanswered questions, but there's some other ones. And I'm thinking this would just tie up some loose ends if I make unanswered questions my theme for the year. So that's it.
yeah. Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Molly, you and I can get in contact. I will joyfully help you. I am currently, and I'm a brand new at it, registrar for my DAR chapter.
Ooh.
I started researching it when I was 13, and it took until I was 50 to prove it. But
Oh,
I would love to be able to help you and give you whatever resources I have available to use.
Now, are you on our list, or should you put your email in the chat and I'll get a hold of you, or what do you want to do?
Good question. Kate, you want to answer that question?
oh, if you want to put it in the chat, you should be able to.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay,
then.
do that, and then I'll get in touch because it was Monmouth County, if that helps. And yeah.
Monmouth County. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Oh, awesome.
No problem.
Yeah. That's good. Awesome.
Is somebody up next?
You can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been making some headway, I'm really pleased to say, on writing about my grandmother and the impact in my family of my grandmother's being murdered.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Yeah. On the north side of Syracuse in 1938. As you can imagine, it really affected our family, but it was a secret. And so I've had to do a whole lot of digging to get information. But one thing I discovered this year is that there was a true crime podcast that included the man who murdered my grandmother. It was a true crime podcast about 5 men in the local area who had been put to death under the death penalty.
Oh, wow.
And the podcast is called The Condemned, and it was put out 5 years ago. And I contacted the writer of the podcast, and he very generously sent me his whole file on my grandmother's murder, which was over 50 articles.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
newspaper articles. Yes, it's a wow.
Yeah.
And so I'm writing about it, and I'm at least I'm starting at, oh, kind of like historical fiction writing, trying to
Oh,
put people in the setting. And I'm starting on the day that my mother walked home from work
uh-huh.
and found that her mother was missing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm looking for more information on what Syracuse or the north side of Syracuse would have been like in the 1930s and 1940s.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone has ideas or resources, any kind of information or thoughts about how to proceed with this,
Yeah. I'll put my brain to that and see if there's anything beyond the newspapers. Um,
I can see you thinking already, Kate.
yeah.
Thank
Let's see.
you.
What, do you
Yeah.
know neighborhood?
Yes,
That will help.
Court Street. It was very close to the Kraus Heinz plant at the corner of Court Street and let's see, that's not 7th North, is it? Sweetheart, what corner is Kraus Heinz at? Court Street? Oh, thank you. Wolf and 7th North. It's not a, it's very close to Wolf and 7th North,
And
the
7th
setting.
North. Okay.
It's the Court Street area.
Court
Court
Street
Street,
area.
Grant Boulevard.
Grant Boulevard. Okay. I know we've got some newspaper clipping books that are set by neighborhood.
Oh, oh,
So I can check and see if there's anything there. But I'll also check with Dan and see if he's got any recommendations as well.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, because there's bound to be something more than just newspaper clippings, I hope. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. All right.
Ori, I know some writers have been using artificial intelligence to get background for, whatever genealogy research they're doing. And there's ways to, pose the question to artificial intelligence to try to get that background information. And, it'll cite books and it will, that would be able to give you, um, it depends on how you pose that question as to what information you're going to receive. So,
Oh, Scott, that is such a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. I did finally relent and go to AI to describe the day because it was a winter day after a freak winter storm,
okay.
and AI was fantastic in helping me with images, just fantastic. So that's a really good idea. Thank you.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a caution because I've been working on this for a couple of years. You always have to trust but verify. So if you get some information, you may want to see if you can get another source that corroborates that information. Because the way artificial intelligence is set up, it wants to give you an answer. So if it doesn't have the answer, it may give you the wrong answer or make up an answer. So that's my caution, I guess. So,
Well, that's really good advice.
the other thing you might want to try is to go to one of the online libraries like the Hathy Trust. I think that's if you Google it, it'll come right up. And
How do you
if
spell
you,
it, Scott?
Kate, how's that spelled? Is it
Oh, that's
H A
H
I
H
or
A.
Hathi?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And that is like a world library, and you can actually you can actually put information. It's similar kind of to artificial intelligence, where you can ask for information about a particular neighborhood or a particular incident, and it might be mentioned in some book. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know?
Mhm.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, there we go. There's the link. I just put the link to Hathy Trust in the chat.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And
So my goal for this year is the same as it is every other year. I really want to, I had a wonky thing with my computer. When I reloaded my genealogy program, it had triplicated everybody. So I'm having to go through and find them and link them properly and get rid of the old stuff. It's a nasty, horrible, terrible, it's killing me process.
oh
But
no.
I've decided that I follow several different groups and several different podcasts, etc. And I've decided that I want to do Thomas McGinty's genealogy do-over / go over and basically start from scratch and move everything into one new clean tree and put all my information there, because I have information from when I was 13 all the way up until now to re-input and get better and actually cite and everything else. I also want to do Connie Knox has a really great process of doing a research sheet on everybody in her tree. Now, I'm not going to do it for everybody, but I am going to do it for my direct ancestors. So hopefully that will help me, number one, find what I'm missing, uncover the brick walls. I have one huge one that I've been working on forever, and actually concentrate what I'm doing in a methodical, concise, easy to follow way rather than the, oh, squirrel, like I normally do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's my joy. That's my optimistic hope for this year.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Melissa, I attended a lecture at the New York City Public Library in Manhattan a number of years ago. It's probably almost 10 years ago. And one of the lectures was given by a person, and she basically talked about what you said. And she was basically saying, dump whatever you have, burn it, start all over again, and make it lean and mean.
Yeah.
So, you have all these people who are third cousins 6 times removed, and you have, I'm sure you've seen these trees online that people have 25,000 people in their tree. She's saying make it lean and mean and actually have meaningful things about the people who are on the tree. Have their story, have their ancestor sketch, have everything you can know about them in that tree.
Yep. That's the goal. I because mine is probably over 40,000 people in the tree, because it's not just my tree, it's my
Yeah,
husband's and my son-in-law's and all that.
yeah.
But I get a lot of joy out of it. One of the things that I'm a very visual person. One of the things that I do is on the profile picture in my private, it doesn't go up to the net or anything. I have a little tree, a picture of Snoopy and Charlie Brown saying you're barking up the wrong tree. And that's where I put all of the in-laws that I don't need to follow.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Well, it is nice for DNA to have all them cousins, but yeah, the deep
Yeah,
dive for the direct people.
yeah.
Deep dive on the directs. Yeah. I know it can be so easy to squirrel and rabbit hole down different paths, and it's like getting, yeah, on Ancestry where I've gotten hints for, my cousin's husband's, you know, aunt,
Yeah.
who's like
Twice removed. Yeah.
twice removed, and I was like, they're barely even a shirt tail relation. So yeah.
Yeah. It gets to be very exciting and frustrating. And I just want to actually pretend that I'm not a squirrel. I'd like to actually pay attention to one thing at a time. I don't know if I can do it, but I can try.
Yeah.
Maybe I should limit my ancestry days and my DNA days to only one day a week. I'm only allowed to look at it on Thursdays,
Yeah.
so I won't get distracted.
Oh,
Fat
appro-
chance, but it's worth a shot.
appropriate for Throwback Thursdays to
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
Right. There we go. There we go. Okay. Does anybody else have something to share?
Am I allowed a second thing?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I don't want to get kicked out. So
No, never.
I know you have your mother here as the marshal to kick people out. So. I'm
Never.
very interested in finding out information about German prisoners of war. I have several cousins who were prisoners of war in the US, working a farm in Illinois. I have two
Wow.
cousins who were POWs in Russia, and I have a cousin who was a POW in France, all during World War II. And I've been trying to find information on them, and it's difficult, let's say.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that is interest. That would be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I remember when I was in Germany about 10 years ago, I met a cousin who, was showing me things from her family tree and memorial cards and all these things. And she, had a tear in her eye, and she said that my brother was, 16 or 17, and he was drafted in the military. He was in a prisoner of war camp in France. He died in captivity,
Oh,
and I think it took many years for his, body to be repatriated to Germany.
wow.
But she really didn't know very much about what he was doing, except that he was, very, very young. I'm going to say 17. So,
Hmm.
and, she remembers him all these years longer, or all these years later, and still thinks about, what could have been, I guess. So,
Ah,
Mm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That would be interesting to look into. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Okay. So, does anybody else have something they want to share? Any plans or any topics you want to see?
Okay.
I want to say something
Oh.
to Scott. My grandfather was also a prisoner of war in Russia, and actually in Armenia, I found out later. I found a tiny little piece of paper that had some names and dates. It was only about 1 inch, 1 square inch. And in my research, I ended up finding it's called Verzeichnis der Kriegsgefangenenlager in Russland, which means it shows all the Russian prison camps that they put prisoners in. And I think it was a piece of information that was marked top secret, and it wasn't released until I think 2008 or something. I don't have the exact date on here when it was approved. And it shows all the prisoner of war camps. And I found every single one that my grandfather was in. So
Wow.
I don't know if this exists for other countries or not, but that was a huge find for me to be able to actually figure out what this little piece of paper meant. And it was his record of when he was at which prisoner of war camp, and he was at like 5 different ones. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you, Karen.
That's good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Definitely worth looking for.
Kate,
Yes.
I wanted to say I'm really glad you're going to be doing the program on city directories
Oh,
because I found a ton of information in city directories. So I'm glad you're going to do that.
yes. Well, and I had realized I hadn't done one yet, and we've got the Syracuse city directories in print going back to 1854, and then we also have other city directories for Central New York on microfilm. And it was like, oh yeah, because it's like when you're looking for people in between the census years, that's one of the things you can do, and one of the places you can look. And it's like just figured it'd be worth highlighting those. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
That'll be good.
yeah. All right. So yeah. So is there anybody else who wants to share anything? Um, if not, I think we'll wrap up, and I will be getting out the PDF of the chat log as well as the PDF of the slides later today. It actually shouldn't take me that long to get those together. And then once the video is processed on YouTube, that'll be up, and I'll be able to get that link out as well. And I just wish you all the very best for the holidays and for the coming 2026. Look forward to seeing you all on Friday, January 23rd, if I don't see you before then.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Happy holidays,
Christmas.
everybody.
Happy holidays.
You.
Happy
New
holidays,
Year.
Take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Yep.
Thank you for doing this, Kate.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes,
Amen
thank you
to
very
that.
much.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Yep. Bye, Melissa. Thank you. Yeah. And Charlene.